All right, Shalom. First off, all praises, admiration, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Kahakodash, at double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. All right, first off, I want to say Shalom to the ones that push this word out in truth and sincerity, which are the apostles and elders on down to the brothers. And Shalom to the ones that endure this faith to the very end, until the time of Jacob's troubles, which are again the apostles and elders on down to the brothers and a few sisters. All right, so Shalom. So I want to do this, you know, little lesson. I looked at the brothers, one of the brothers' channels. In fact, I'm gonna put it on the screen right now. Okay, here we go. It was this one right here. The water to this brother. He posts, a lot of these, clips, man. He makes a lot of these clips. There's a few brothers like that, and these are real spiritual, man. These are faith boosters, right? Because this gives you something, to look forward to, right? And one of the main scriptures that were read in this video was Isaiah, the 61st chapter, right? I actually like the scripture, so you know what? I'm gonna just start straight off with it. This is Isaiah 61 and 1, and I'm gonna read all the way down. It says, and here's the thing: this is what you Christians are afraid of, man. Because just real quick, the brothers here, our camp, just had a live stream yesterday, and we had a scoffer up on there going by Gary Roberts or something like that. He just didn't know what the hell he was talking about, man. That's why everybody, in the live stream and everybody in the comment board, lit him up. And he went quiet eventually, right? Because you don't know what y'all Christians, man, y'all are failing. That Christianity is failing the whole world. It ain't doing nothing good for you people, right? He knew nothing that he was talking about, man. Asking if everybody could be saved, man. No, not everybody can be saved. Then he read the book of Isaiah, I believe 9 and 1. I'd have to look back, talking about fearing the Lord. Well, first off, man, not everybody can do that. I mean, yes, you can. They have fear in the Lord, but what is fear in the Lord? Having fear in the Lord is the first commandment, which is loving the Lord with all your heart. That comes with the fear, right? These other nations, they can't love the Lord with all their heart, right? Because the law, statutes, and commandments were not given to them. It was only given to the Israelites, as the book of Romans 9, right? And many other scriptures, state. So again, you Christians, man, y'all are phony, man. Y'all dying off. This is what you Christians are afraid of that's coming. This is Isaiah 61 and 1. It says, the Spirit of the Lord, Yahweh, is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound, right? These scriptures are pretty much very, very self-explanatory here, right? And it's spiritual. It says to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn, right? To comfort all the ones that sigh and cry in this place, man. Because there's a lot of people, and there's going to be many more that's going to, in fact, there's going to be even scoffers that would turn around and be like, oh shit, y'all right. Man, I had demons on me, man. There's going to be a lot of scoffers waking up. It's going to be a lot of, people that you never thought, people in other camps that will, turn to the right way, right? They will start seeing the bullshit. It says, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, and the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified. It says, and they shall build the old waste They shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations. Right now, this ain't talking about Babylon, right? This ain't talking about America. That's talking about the Holy Land. That's talking about the land of Jerusalem, right? Israel, because at this point, there's Jake talking about they want to go back to Israel right now. No, you don't. Trust me, you don't. You don't. Not right now. No. Um, considering the fact that what's going on over there, what is overran by all these heathens over there, no, you don't want to go there. um, it says, and strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. Now, who is that talking about, man? First off, let's go into the word alien. We already know what that means. Just means foreign, right? Not creatures in the spaceships, right? Which those will be considered angels. But what that's talking about, man, the sons of the aliens, right? Sons of the heathens, right? It's talking about them heathen nations, man. The ones that, you know, the dogs that lick the womb. They'll fall in suit, man. Because this one that rules the society, they're gonna go into captivity. And them heathen nations, man, that fed off our pain and our suffering, they gotta go subject unto us, right? They gotta serve unto us. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, man. These things has to come to pass, man, and it will. Right? These are the promises of the Lord. It says, but ye shall be named the priests of the Lord. Men shall call you the ministers of our God. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. Right? So we're going to eat the riches of the Gentiles, right? Now, there's different definitions of Gentiles, right? As the elder goes into a lot, we all go into this, comes for the word gentilius, right? First off, man, this is a good question for you Christians, man. Who is the Gentiles in this, right? Because it can also mean, as they always say, people who are not, of Israel, right? But most of y'all don't understand that, what the word Gentile actually means. But in many cases, like this one, even, yes, that is talking about the ones that are not of Israel, right? You also have the book of Revelations. I forgot which chapter, but it says the court, which is, the temple, no, the court, which is without the temple, leave out, right? That was talking about the non Israelites because the temple is the Israelites. The heathen nations were the court, the people that is not of the temple, right? So, it says, "In their glory shall ye boast yourselves," right? So we're going to eat of the riches of them, the heathens, man. Because they're known for, growing their own things. They're known for, merchandising. And we're going to feed off of that, man, because that's what they did to us. They feed off of our pain. This whole society was built by us, right? We were made to, they made us build this place. And those heathens are the ones that funded, as the elder here of Baltimore goes into, them heathens, man, they're the ones who funded, the slave trade, right? They taught, them rats how to break us, how to enslave us, right? To this day, they come over here, feed off of, our pain. You don't see us running, stores and all kinds of shit. No, you see a bunch of them Arabs and them Indians and them all them heathens, doing shit like that. Who are the top scammers? Usually them Indians over there, right? In India. Them heathens. They be the ones constantly scamming. They getting caught left and right. So It says, "For your shame ye shall have double, and for confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore in their land they shall possess the double. Everlasting joy shall be unto them." Right? So our shame, man, you know, their shame is going to be double, even our shame, right? Because you got the 2/3, which is a lot of, people compared to the 1/3 and compared to, the 144,000, the elect, right? Them 2/3, man, are going to feel shame, a lot of it, right? Because they didn't listen, right? In fact, the brother had that, he had that clip. Um, yeah, he had that clip in this video somewhere. It was kind of funny. It was, in fact, if I could play it real quick, it was
The
this clip
Israelites
right
told me
here.
this day would come. I didn't listen.
Oh my God!
What is that thing?
Right. He's pretty much showing examples, man, of people who don't understand. Right. So those are the ones who didn't listen. Right. And again, to water that, brother, he put examples like that out there. And because what we're doing is Ezekiel 3:17. It's also in the 33rd chapter. Right. We're warning the people from their wicked ways. But they want to continue to, you know, do Jeremiah 6:10. Right. Being uncircumcised, it comes up to them as a reproach. They have no understanding, man. As he put in the video, they started running like, what is that thing, man? Well, if they actually had the real understanding, they would know those are our brothers, right? Those are angels, man. That's the Lord, coming to redeem us. But no, these people feel that this society is the new covenant. They feel that this society, this bum ass society, is, the lavish life. And that's why I can tell that's why he put that clip in there, those, people having dates, marrying, right? During that's pretty much goes into the times of Noah when they ate, drank, and married. So it says, "For I, the Lord, love judgment. I hate robbery for burnt offering, and I will direct their work in truth, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them." What is that talking about for you Christians? Right? It says, "For the Lord loves judgment." You Christians be the main ones talking about you can't judge nobody and all this other stuff. You're free to do what you like. But the Lord said he loved judgment. He said, "I hate robbery for burnt offerings." What are you people doing? That is everything that you people are doing, man. You Christians love to use that excuse. God don't hate people, he just hates the sin. So what is that? Right? What did I just read? It says, "And I would direct their work in truth, and I would make an everlasting covenant with them." Right? That also precepts to we read that at the Passover. When Yahweh Shah said, I'll drink it new with you in my father's kingdom. Right? It's also a precept to Daniel 7:18, right? When the saints of the Most High would take the kingdom. That is the everlasting, making the everlasting covenant. So clearly we're not in the new covenant. It says, "And their seed shall be known among the Gentiles, and their offspring among the people. And all them, Salak, and all that see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed which the Lord hath blessed." Right? Now, when it talks about their seed shall be known among the Gentiles, again, that could be talking about the heathen nations. But in this situation here, man, this is mostly talking about Israel, right? Because obviously the heathen nations, they already know who we are. They know who we are already. They've been knew who we are. That's why they funded in the slave trade so much. It's our people, right? It's our dumbass people who don't know who they are. Gentiles are also, mainly the Israelites who don't know. The Israelites who follow other customs, Hellenized, Jews, right? They speak either different languages or they believe in other doctrines, man, because they don't know, right? So pretty much unknowing Israelites or Israelites who even refuse, to accept the truth. They're going to be the ones that would know that they are among Israel, right? That's their true heritage. It says, I will greatly rejoice in the Lord. My soul shall be joyful in my God, for he has clothed me with the garments of salvation. He that covered me with the robe of righteousness, as a bridegroom decketh himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorneth herself with her jewels. For as the earth bringeth forth her bud, as the garden causeth the things that are sown in to spring forth, so the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai will cause righteousness and praise to spring forth before all the nations. Right? We're going to be praising and rejoicing unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. And you know what? You heathen nations, man, y'all also going to be praising. Right? Because y'all going to be good. Y'all going to be happy, being servants unto us. Right? And we're going to punish the nations in righteousness, not in that sick, twisted, messed up, shit that y'all did, right? That y'all did to us, right? Not all that freak shit, man. No, in fact, it's going to feel 10 times worse on y'all because we're going to be doing it under righteousness. That's what you Christians are afraid of, man. And y'all know it's coming. That's why that Christianity is failing. That's why that little goofball on a comment board yesterday was failing. That's why his ass got quiet. Because then he started having to try to nitpick, saying, "Oh, you can't read. Y'all can't read. Y'all struggle to read the scriptures." Well, I look on your channel and I'm just hearing nothing but the world's smallest violin playing in the background of you just holding your camera up to a scripture, but you not reading it yourself. Man, you Christians are full of shit, man. And that's why that Christianity is going to fall, man, because that Christianity is failing the world and everybody sees it. Why is every Christian being caught? Why is every pastor being caught with, some fetuses? Right? Why is it that the church is mostly known for scandals or the pastors doing something, freaks, right? Doing some freaky ass shit. That's how you know it's falling. Man, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, the words of Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai stays forever, man. Really. Man, it stays forever. That Jesus Christ, that just goes. Right? People in the world who follow that Jesus Christ, they eventually just dissipate. By the Lord's word is lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakahakodash, and Shalom.